What is my favorite indie niche perfume house? I'm going to tell you and show you their very first fragrance coming up next. Welcome back everybody to Joel the Nose, and thank you for watching. So today's video is a new indie niche fragrance house that has just come out in the last, I don't know, probably a few months, but I think definitely this year in 2025. And this house, I won't make you guys wait, is called Nicholas Paul. Nicholas Paul, okay, he was a mixologist by trade for the last, I don't know, I think 10, 15 years or so. And so he's been in this kind of creative space, you know, mixology, mixologist is the higher, I would consider, you know, the higher end of bartending, right? If you're a mixologist, typically it's almost like niche perfumery. I think there's a correlation, which I find interesting, that he's now into niche perfumery. And so it sounds like, you know, from reading a little bit about them and talking to them and getting to know them a little bit, you know, he was kind of transitioning and he was really into fragrance and being an artist and mixologist, and you're constantly smelling things. I know some mixologists and they love perfumes. Everyone I know, we're always talking about it. So this makes a lot of sense, this kind of transition. And so Nicholas, and then the creative director, his name is Kyle, and he was I guess a musician and also a professional photographer. So these guys come from the artistic world, and they've launched this together completely on their own. This is so cool to see, and that's why I love talking about new fragrance houses like this, especially niche fragrance houses. So this, that's a little bit on the background. This fragrance, the very first one that they just released, and I guess it came out maybe a few months ago, is called Academia. And here's the box, and just so you can see, I really like what they've done here. Very good design, especially for a new house. You know, it's not like a famous perfumer or a famous creative perfume director from a big house where they have lots of money. These guys, you know, are really killing it. And I think what they've done here is combine a lot of their artistic talents. I like this. It's got kind of this dark edge. I think this brand, when I read about it a little bit and talked to them, they're really trying to strive for authenticity, to kind of hit that part of niche fragrance where maybe, you know, with this kind of combination of a lot of the big designer houses buying up niche brands over the years, there's kind of line being blurred between niche and designer and everything. And I think what they've tried to find is let's create these like almost bespoke, really individual creative fragrances. So I think you're going to see a lot of artists, a lot of creative types, a lot of people who want something different and to smell something unique. I think you're going to see a lot of them gravitate towards this house. And this first fragrance absolutely delivers on that promise. So sometimes, I'll tell you right now, I get approached by a lot of smaller houses, you know, that want, you know, me to smell their stuff. And I smell a lot of things that, you know, unfortunately just doesn't resonate with me. But when I find something that does, I talk about it, and I want to talk about it, and I want to introduce it. So again, this is Academia. And so let me just show you, it comes in again, this box here. It's very nice, very well put together and designed. You open it up, and there the fragrance sits right inside there. So this is a nice, you know, better than kind of a lot of standard, you know, niche, definitely designer packaging. And the bottle is actually very cool. I really like the bottle. So take a look at this bottle. It's like a black matte, but it's really got heft. It's heavy. It's got like a nice gold and black label on here, foil label, very nice, very clean, very simple, very elegant, but the black gives it a little bit of an edge. I think this brand is going for that. They're going for that little bit of an edge, a little bit of an outlaw feel to their fragrances. And so you don't see a lot of that out there. I think they're finding maybe a good niche, no pun intended, for this brand and this fragrance. And it's got this little ball on the top. Of course, you can see that it fits very nice and secure. Again, 50 ml extrait. So this is a 50, well, I'm sorry, eau de parfum, not extrait. 50 ml eau de parfum. And I've been wearing it now for a couple days, and so I wanted to get this review out because I wanted people to hear about it. And just let me read you the notes because they're new to me also. At the top, you have pink peppercorn and cedar. In the heart, you have leather, muguet, muguet, jasmine, patchouli, and then the base you have dark fruits, ambergris, white musk, and vetiver. So those notes right off the bat. When I heard about it and I saw it, I'm like, that's stuff I like. I like that this is kind of an interesting combination of darkness with lightness. It's almost like yin and yang. I do dig what they're going. You don't, a lot of times fragrances are either go for a more dark or a more lighter, fresher. This is really kind of something that plays off both ends of that spectrum. And for him to do this on his first perfume, Nicholas, I gotta say, I'm impressed, dude. I mean, to do that on your first one. A lot of you know I've made my own perfumes. I've sold 3 of them. I'm working on my 4th, very small, batch, more as a hobby. But so I know how difficult it is to pull that off, and he's done it here. So when you spray this, and let me just show you guys a little bit so you can get my. And so it's got a very good sprayer there. You can see very good distribution, nice puff. Oh, it can smell it through the air. I love it. This is what I consider a very dry leather, cedar, kind of ambergris, sexy perfume. So if you like, I'm trying to think of something like Velvet Desert Oud. That's an oud fragrance, but it has that kind of dry, that's from Dolce & Gabbana, the private line. It has this very dry quality that I like. A lot of times leather fragrances, they either go the way of suede or they go the way of like a dark leather, like a more rich leather. This is to me just a well-blended, well-constructed, dry leather that mixes so well with that cedar. Cedar is a very dry wood also, so I think that's a good combination. But the pink pepper at the top really sets this, I think, apart from a lot of the other leather fragrances that I typically smell. The pink pepper gives it a little bit of a sparkling, just a little bite to it, a little bit of a crisp bite from that pink peppercorn. Gives it a little bit of sweetness also, so it's not just this pure leather dry. And as it dries down, the jasmine and the patchouli give it this kind of very earthy quality. And I like that those are kind of listed in the middle as the base notes, because a lot of times you consider patchouli or white musk, a lot of times even a base note. But they do list white musk, I think, at both the base. Actually, yeah, no, just the base. Okay, yeah. So you have the patchouli and the jasmine again in the heart, and then in the base you have the white musk, vetiver, ambergris, and dark fruits. So the dark fruits, for me, kicks in after about an hour, and when it gets into that base note, and the base is just a wonderful, smooth, sexy dry down. I've worn it probably 3 times now, and I get about 6 to 7 hours of good sillage, good projection, and good lasting on the skin. 6 to 7 hours for me is just an ideal range. I actually don't, a lot of times, prefer to go more because I like to put a fragrance on in the morning, and then in the late afternoon or before I go out to dinner or whatever, or go out at night, I like to put on something else. So I like when something just shines intensely for that 6-7 hour period, and this has done that for me. So I gotta say, first fragrance, Academia is a winner. I can very highly recommend this. And you know what? Let me stop for a second because I got to check on the price. That would help, right? Let me check on the price. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm glad I checked because I actually was off by, I was going to tell you an amount that was a little bit higher than it is. This is a great price. 50 mLs, $135. I was thinking $150, $135. So this puts this right in that exceptional range for an eau de parfum at the lower end of niche. Obviously, if it was 100 mLs, it would be a little over 200. That still puts it at a very excellent price range. And I think that's a smart price point for launching a new brand, of course, where they are unknown and people are going to have to get to know them, and people are going to have to get to know Nicholas. They're going to have to get to know his perfumes. I was talking to them. Apparently, they're about to have another big launch as we get in towards the next few months. So I'm excited to hear about what they do next, because if anything, if it's like this first one, I think this brand has a big future ahead of them. I think it's just a matter of them, you know, having people get their noses on it. And so I hope that people will try it and let me know what you guys think. Maybe some of you have already tried it. If you have, put it in the comments. If not, if you do try it, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, I would humbly request that you do so. I appreciate it. Of course, if you like the video, you can ring the bell. You can, for notifications, I'm sorry, you can like the video. You can ring the bell for notifications, or you can share it. And remember what I say, don't be a wimp, spray like a pimp.
You guys always smell great. Who do you trust for fragrance reviews?
JoelTheNose.
JoelTheNose.
JoelTheNose.